All right, here we are, multiplying decimals. So when we multiply decimals, we're actually going to do it in the same manner as we did whole numbers. We just have to figure out what to do with the decimal. And for this one, it's a little bit different. When we write this one, we want to write it where the right sides line up. So for multiplication, my board's doing all kinds of kooky things. Okay. The decimals may or may not line up, and that's okay. Okay. To place a decimal, count the number of digits to the right of all decimals and count in from right in your answer. So that's going to make sense in a minute, but just in words, that's what you're doing. All right, so we're taking 8.2 times 6.3. So we're going to do this the same way we would do whole numbers. We're going to ignore the decimals for a second. However, if I know to place the decimal, I need to count the number of digits to the right of all the decimals. This one's to the right and this one's to the right. So 1, 2. So I'm just going to put a little 2 up here to remind myself later. Okay? So now I'm multiplying with the 3. So 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 8 is 24. I'm not placing any decimals right now. I'm not doing a thing with them. I'm going to put my 0 there because now I'm doing the 6. 6 times 2 is 12, so I put the 2 down and I carry the 1. 6 times 8 is 48, plus 1 is 49. So now I have two seemingly familiar things, two strings of, numbers, and I want to add them together. So when I do that, I get 6, 6, 11, and 5. 5, 1, 6, 6. But I know from up here that I had 2 decimals to the right of all my decimals in my original problem. So I'm going to come down here to my answer, and I'm going to place it to the right, and then I'm going to make 2 swoops, or count 2 in to the left, 1, 2, and that's where my decimal is going to be. So my answer to this one is 51.66, or 51 and 66 hundredths. All right, let's try that again. Same process. So I have 24.71 times 6.4. Now this is where we want to line up numbers on right side. Okay, so you can kind of see in mine's, maybe I'll kind of make it a little bit more neat since I don't have graph paper. Okay, so I'm going to first multiply with the 4. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 4 is 16. Plus 2 is 18. And 4 times 2 is 1. 4 times 2 is 8. Plus 1 gives me 9. Now, if I did what I was supposed to do at the beginning, which I forgot, you're counting all the decimals to the right of your decimals, and that's going to be 3. So just keep that in mind. Now, we're going to multiply with the 6. Okay, so we put the 0 for the placeholder. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 4 is 28. And 6 times 2 is 12, plus 2 is 14. So we're going to add these up. So we get 4, 14, 11, 18, 5, and 1. And then you're saying to yourself, okay, I had that 3 digits, so I place it here and I go 1, 2, 3, and I place my final decimal. So my answer is 158.144. No rounding, no cutting off decimals, none of that. If it tells you to round after that, then that is something completely different. But if you're just straight multiplying, you want to write out as many digits as you need. All right, so looking at this one, we have 6.78 and 3.32. So remembering what my first step is supposed to be, looking at all my decimals to the right, I have 4. Okay, and now I'm going to start with the 2. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 7 is 14, 15. 2 times 6 is 12, 13. Now I'm going to have 1 placeholder. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 7 is 21 plus 2 is 23. 3 times 6 is 18 plus 2 is 20. All right, and then my last one, I'm going to have 2 placeholders because I'm starting in the 3rd spot, so I need to be starting here in the 3rd spot. And I'm doing 3 times 8, which is 24. 3 times 7, which is 21 plus 2, 23. 3 times 6 is 18 plus 2, which is 20. Notice I'm multiplying 6.78 by 3 again. So these two lines realistically should be the same. They just should be shifted. So I do get 2034 in both of those. So that's a 6. All right, now I'm going to add. So I have 6, 9, 10, 5, 2, 2. But I knew I have 4 decimal places, so I'm going to place it, and then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So my answer is 22.5096, or 22 and 5,096 10,000ths. All right, number 4. We have 8.85, 2.79. Again, remember I'm not lining up by decimals. I'm lining up by their right sides. Counting the number of decimals I have to the right, again, that number is 4 for this one. And now I'm ready to go. So 9 times 5 is 45. 9 times 8 is 72, plus 4 is 76. 9 times 8 again is 72, plus 9 is 79. Place 1 placeholder. And now I have 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 8 is 56, plus 3 is 59. 7 times 8 is 56, plus 5 is 61. Now I have 2 zeros, and I'm multiplying by 2. So I get 10, 16, 17, 17 again. Now I'm adding, and I get 5, 11, 19, 16, 14, 2. I have 4 decimal places, so I start here and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and my answer is 24 and 6,915 10,000ths. All right, my final one, we have 3, but that's no big deal. We're just going to do 2 and then do the other. Order doesn't matter. So I'm going to do 0.9 and 0.6 first. Again, my question all along has been how many places are to the right of the decimal? That's 2. Okay, so now when I go ahead and do that, 6 times 9 is 54. And if I'm placing my decimal here and then bouncing it 2, my answer for this is 0.54. Okay, now I'm going to take that 0.54 and I'm going to multiply it by 0.2 because that's my other one. And I'm again lining them up to the right. I'm counting how many decimal places I have on the right side, which is 3 now. Okay, see how you added one in? You have another place there because that 100th place. And now I can do my process for multiplication. And I get, giving me a hard time. I get 8, I get 10, and I want to move it 3 places. So I get 0.108, and I'm all done. Come back here after you try some on your own for the division.